All right, mic check, mic check. Excellent, 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 excellent. All right, here, let me get my charts together. We got about 20 minutes until 10 a.m. Good morning. Well, good day to everyone. I know it's not morning for everybody, but good day, good day. Clean up my charts here. I was just looking at yesterday's trade. Excellent read on price, man. You just needed a super wide stop yesterday, and you could have walked away from that trade. But I think today should be cleaner. Monday and Tuesday were pretty range bound. So let's do it like this. Check the news. Today we have July 15th. PPI came back lower than expected, lower than expected, lower than expected. Everything's lower than expected, which is nice. And then today we have Fed testifying at 10, and then crude oil inventory at 10:30. All right, you can see the markets are very, very diverged at the moment. So that's telling me we are about to have another similar session to yesterday. So the game plan for me for the rest of the summer is going to be lower my risk and widen my stop and just let these trades do whatever they want to do, because the power of three has brought us this far. You guys remember last week we had a very clean trading week, three trades or 3 trading days, 3 beautiful wins, and then we start this week off with a little bit of chop, but even still we're in good shape. So I'm looking at how a couple things, right? Let's go to this 4-hour on the RTY. You see this massive divergence up here from this high on the NASDAQ. I'm sorry, from this high right here. You see how we take the high, we break structure on both. I'm sorry, not on both. We broke structure on both, but we failed to take this high here. So that leads me to believe that this area here should remain bearish. And what do you know? Beautiful rejection off of it, right? The last attempt to go higher, that gives you that SMT and break a structure. Simple. So that's one point of interest for a short. Same thing over here. We've broken this high, but we get right back underneath it. So now when I look to this area, I want to know, are there any breaks of structure going on right now? And we see this break of structure right here. But it looks like more of a accumulation type of deal. So I'm just going to stick to the higher time frame here and assume that there's some sort of, okay, here's another one, right? You see this divergence right here, right here, where price looks like price took out more on RTY. Yeah, RTY takes out all of this and break structure lower. Right here, this break of structure here. So now when I look at this area, break structure, boom, boom. This should have been a clean area for short, so we end up pushing past it. However, over here, this same area, this last attempt to go higher is still bearish, right? And then you want to make a case for the buys. If price is bullish, where would the buyers step up? We need to see some sort of break of structure. 2-hour chart may give you that deal. All right, there's one. Sweeping out all these lows here. Massive divergence. Sweeping out those lows. You break this high right here. Boom. So now you have this area right here that could be bullish. Last down close candle before that break of structure, blah, blah, blah. All right. Same thing over here. Last down close candle before that break of structure. You see price is pretty much already on its way. And you don't really see much of a break of structure so far. You have these order blocks here, which definitely are looking like they're trying to stack above and keep going, right? See this down close, changing the state, retest, flip this order block, retest. All right, so it looks like these areas are trying. And that's when you drop to that 30-minute and you try to figure out, all right, what are the overnight sessions telling me based on the current price action? All right, so we see Asia low hasn't been swept. We just swept out London's low. Oh, there it is, a nice divergence off of that Asia low. RTY takes it out. And then you have these order blocks down in here. So what I'll do is I'll make the higher time frame gray and make this one orange. That could be a nice pivot. If it holds, same thing here. Price seems to be holding this Asia low order block. Hasn't retested it yet. And then you have this sweep with this down close candle right here. Very simple, right? Clean areas of interest to look for a reaction. Save this. We have about 15 minutes until 10 a.m. Let me go draw up. Why did this? Didn't save it. All right. Now let's look at NASDAQ in comparison to ES. Where's your most recent break of structure? All right, so you can see decent moves higher on the 4-hour here off of these lows, right? So we have SMT here. NASDAQ is weaker. And then you have a decent closure here above these highs on the ES. NASDAQ barely breaks it, but that'll count. And then now you're looking in this leg here, you see price trades all the way back down to this last down close candle. And it rallied nicely, so that's a really bullish reaction. Still have these highs available. Same thing here, right? Break a structure, retest here, and it's showing that strength. So naturally, you may think this should go higher, honestly. We have these SMT levels up here that led to a break of structure. All right, you see that SMT break structure right here. This was the one right here that I would have anticipated to hold. This Thursday high, SMT with ES, break structure, breaks the lows. And then now you're looking at this extreme here, this last attempt to go higher. You're looking at that for shorts. And what do you know? I think this is where I shorted Monday. Yeah, this is where, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is where I shorted on Monday. All right. So if this holds, price should trade all the way back down to this low because we got the divergence, you got the break of structure, you got the retest, and price seems to be holding this retest. Yeah.
I want to play Spider-Man 2 game because I'm going to share to play. So I'm going to play as Spider-Man and you're going to play as.
Buddy, I don't want to play Spider-Man.
But you just saying Spider-Man is wild.
But I don't want to play. Maybe later. Yeah. All right, but yeah, so if this bearish transition holds, what you should expect is for price to retest whatever and go lower. All right. I like this move here because it gives you another SMT before breaking, right? So you see how this high right here, we don't take out this. And then you have ES over here breaking that high easily. And then you get a break of structure. Now it's retesting these last up close candles. You're getting nice rejections off of them, as you can see. I wouldn't be surprised if this tries to short from here, right? So you can see how there's a couple scenarios on the table. And we're simply going to wait for those to play out. Cool. Let's see. All right, yeah, so that's my take here. I'm looking at the power of 3, right? So if, let's just say, did we sweep this low? Yeah, so you can see the internal SMTs here, right? You see how this 2 p.m. low was never swept on ES. You can see that we did sweep that low here, barely, but we did sweep it. And you got to break a structure over here. changing the state, whatever you want to call it. You got that break higher. If you go to the 2 hour, it'll look more clean, right? So you see this breaker structure here. With that breaker structure, you know that if price wanted to continue higher, you're going to have order blocks within this leg that price can tap into. So I'm watching that. Let's see here. Are there any gaps being left? Hourly gaps. Usually the gaps give you the best rejection, right? You can just zoom into those and find an order block. Like here, there's a nice gap that got tapped into. See if that has any order blocks. But really the power of 3 is going to give you the answer, right? If we open lower, right? Let's go look at 930 real quick. What did 930 do? Oh, 930 gives you this Judas swing up above, right? So that right there is already telling you this may go short. We get a sweep higher. We get SMT off of that sweep. We're getting a change in the state off of it right now as we speak, right? So if 10 a.m. opens up, does something like this, 10 a.m. opens higher, retests here, starts breaking structure, I'm going to short it. Simply put. And then opposite, right? If 10 a.m. opens lower, sweeps out these lows, completing the job of the 930 move, like if it just starts sweeping out lows and then starts to flip, I'm going to take the long. Because why? 10 a.m. opened lower, swept sell side, completed the job of 930, and then started to transition the opposite way. So I'll give that a chance. It's really that simple. Looking at yesterday's trade, right? If you guys weren't there, so it was the same protocol. We had CPI at 830. We wanted to see how 930 opened. 930 opens lower, right? But it doesn't sweep anything major, so we weren't worried about a Judas lower, and it didn't offer SMT. If you can see here, this is your 930 move on both, right? So I really wasn't worried about that move lower. What you saw was this move higher, sweep the high, SMT. Cool. So now I'm like, all right, how does 10 a.m. respond? Does 10 a.m. give you a simple continuation, or does it give you a reversal? Right, so 10 a.m. immediately opens lower, it doesn't sweep anything, and that was the first red flag that, okay, this may be bullish. Let's see if 10 a.m. can just finish sweeping what 930 wanted to sweep. Sure enough, 10 a.m. pushes, sweeps this data low,
So I was showing
and
you
then
that too.
changes structure, and we bought it here.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You had to wait for you had to press
Buddy.
the down button and it will.
Buddy. Okay, I told you I'm not playing the game right now. So this is the technical approach from yesterday. Your stop is supposed to be this massive, right? Once you got that, I think it was right here. Yeah, once you got that change in the state, you're supposed to, like, you could have, bought it in a gap or something, but your stop would have had to be 210 points yesterday, and then target the levels up above, right? Because 10 a.m. confirmed that, in my eyes, the power of 3 was telling me that it was going to open lower, sweep, and flip, and that's exactly what we got. However, you did have to have a massive stop loss, and here we are now, right? There goes your draw, pushing up into that previous daily high, previous weekly high, whatever the case may be, right? If you would have had a 200-point stop, maybe you could have caught a 200-point TP. Yeah, you would have hit TP, but it would have been way later. It didn't hit TP until Asia. So this trade was not profitable, right? Because you can't hold future trades overnight on prop firms anyway. So this trade, you would have closed it maybe with slight profits, but most likely break even or something, right? Similar to what we did. I ended up getting out, I think around like right here, like somewhere over here on this pullback down. Something like that, yeah. But like I mentioned, power of 3 gives you the answer. Sometimes the volume just doesn't want to pay you out. Whatever. On to the next, right? Now today, I think today should be a lot cleaner because the volume looks really good coming into the open, right? You can see the discrepancies at the lows and at the highs. So I want to wait for this 4-hour candle to close and tell me what I'm looking for, right? look at this doji type bullish candle followed by a bearish candle. This will be interesting to see how this closes, because as I mentioned, we have some clean bearish areas of interest along with some clean bullish areas. So I'm gonna wait for this 4-hour candle to close, right? And we're gonna start to investigate how that 10 a.m. candle opens. Like we mentioned, 9:30 opened higher. Where's 9:30? Yeah, 9:30 opens higher, sweeps, gives that SMT, and then now you're seeing after that SMT, you're seeing price turn around and take out the lows, right? We've taken out all these lows. We've taken out London low on NASDAQ. We've taken out pre-market, oh, well, not pre-market. We've taken out that pre-930 low. However, NASDAQ is doing all the damage, so ES doesn't have to move as low if it's not bearish, right? If this ends up flipping bullish, this is exactly what it would look like. Sweeping out this London low, sweeping out whatever it wants to take out here before going higher. Let me mark off these session levels here. Boom, 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 boom. Because we could still take out this Asia low here. We could still do that, my friends. So what do you guys see that makes sense? We have a clean flip underneath 930. Look how price is retesting 930 and rejecting it. Beautiful rejection here. All right. This could end up going a lot lower. We'll see. About 4 minutes until this candle closes. And let me clean up my chart here to get ready. See what these other YouTubers are up to today. I watched everybody else get whacked yesterday. I don't know what they were thinking yesterday, but maybe everyone catches a banger today. Let's find out. I see somebody already in a short. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, but realistically speaking, right? NASDAQ is already overextended to the downside. If you look, 930 doesn't give you any bullish move on NASDAQ, right? ES is the one that gives you the bullish sweep. NASDAQ is the one giving you more bearishness. So if you were to like only look at NASDAQ, you would say that 930 Judas looks like it may be bearish. The fake move may be bearish, right? And then if you look over here, you would say, okay, can ES agree with that? 930 move can be the fake move lower. Yeah, if we can get back above 930 here comfortably, I would agree that ES gives you that fake move lower here with this sweep. Retest the weekly open, retest 6 a.m., finds its way back higher. You know what I mean? So switch account, cool. Switch account again. Cool, view channel. All right, cool. All right, so what do you notice here, right? I noticed 10 a.m. immediately opening higher here. That right there is already starting to look bearish, if you ask me, right? We're looking at these lows and we're saying, was there any SMT off the low? No. These two lows here were swept on both charts. Now the SMT should be at the highs, right? There it is. You see how this candle closes, 6 a.m. candle closes with SMT off of these highs. We never swept this high. I'm sorry. Wow, look at this high. Yeah, we didn't sweep this high on the ES, the Russell, blah blah blah. Now looking at the 4 hour here, we clearly don't sweep any highs with this 6 a.m. candle here, and we do here. So now what that tells me is I'm looking for a short. If it's offered, I am taking it. If we break structure, we get a little bit too high up here. Maybe that's not the best short, but ideally you want to see price stay within this range right here. If we can maintain this range on NASDAQ, I'm looking to short it. Where do you want to short? I'm looking at these order blocks in here. A couple order blocks there. Another order block up here. All right. And then over here, you may have to go a little lower. All right, there you go. You got an order block sitting here on the 2 minute, but maybe price wants to sweep, whatever the case it wants to be. All right. How I'm looking at it is, instead of this move lower being the Judas, the only way I believe this move lower is a Judas is if all of the charts can climb back above 930, which is way up here for NASDAQ. Right now, ES is the only one above 930. So how I'm looking at this is 930, Judas higher, break structure, right? That's your Judas, that's your break of structure. And with that break of structure, I want to see a retest and maintain this area up in here. The wick included. Even if we sweep it, it's fine. As long as one of these charts are respecting this area and we get a nice clean turn lower, literally something like this, where it just pulls back, boom, break structure, I'm looking to short that. All right. 10 a.m. clearly opening higher with no interest in lower right now. Let's check around YouTube. I'm sure people are going to try to buy this right here, right now. And this would literally be the same setup that they tried to short yesterday. Everyone tried to short this right here. Everyone tried to short this. Where was it? Where was it? It was somewhere in here. Oh, they were just way early. 930. Oh, I think here, yeah. This 930 sweep and then inversion right here. People tried to short this right here. I watched them. I watched them try to short this, thinking that it was going to go lower. And now, what did you notice about here? 10 a.m. open bearish. So why would I be looking to short? I would be looking for a flip if you're trading the Power 3 algo, right? 10 a.m. open bearish. I don't want to short. Even if it does short, that's the catch, right? Sometimes you might get one of those days where 10 a.m. opens one direction and just keeps going that same direction the whole session. Those trades, let those go, because those don't happen as often as these, where you get that open opposite and then a flip. So I'm hoping that today is one of those days that we open opposite, like 10 a.m. opens higher. Here we go, right? It's rejecting from a magical place, right? The same magical place that we have highlighted. You're hoping that price opens higher into that area and gives you a clean reversal. That's it. All right. Yeah, that's my take, man. I don't really see much else going on. We got this previous weekly high up here that could maybe get swept on ES, but we'll find out here. We have lots of liquidity down below. Look at this. This is beautiful. We can start targeting these lows here. But yeah, drop a like if that makes sense. Drop a like if you are ready for a banger trade. And I gotta charge my headphones. I gotta charge my headphones. That's not good. There we go, right? So you see price creating those swing points. This is a beautiful swing point here. A lower high. When this starts to break, price starts to flip back underneath 10 a.m., that's when I go short. If it breaks, right? You don't know if it's going to actually do it, but. All right, here we go. I'm sure people are longing this right now, man. People are longing this right now. What are they longing on? Here, look, let me show you. People are longing this right now, but it's scary because even if this long plays out, where do you go break even? Because you see that everyone is buying NASDAQ. Well, this guy's buying NASDAQ, but ES is the stronger one. So ES could take out this high and then reverse. Then what's going to happen to your NASDAQ trade? You're going to be caught. You're going to be caught wishing and hoping that it goes higher. Like, he's buying NASDAQ here. Somewhere around 29,000, whatever the current price is, 29,885, right? But ES is the one that's closest to that swing. So ES could take out that and then it could dump, and then this trade never really gives you any profits, right? So you got to be aware. If you were going to buy, I would understand buying ES maybe. Stop underneath 10 a.m., underneath, waiting for these highs to get taken. Maybe, right? But with the power of 3, is telling you to sit back and wait. Wait for the 10 a.m. to sweep whatever it wants to sweep, and then try and play a reversal. Ideally, right? So that's the game plan here. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna just set an alert underneath these lows right here, because there's no reason for me to buy this. Russell, what are you up to? Yep, Russell doing the same exact thing. 930, Judas higher, break structure. Now we're pushing above these highs, but you can see the weakness above these highs. Price hasn't shown much strength above them. It's just wicking above it right now. And there's SMT at those highs as well. So we'll see. We shall see. This is the game plan here. Boom, 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 boom. Ideally. Whether it wants to sweep that high or not, we'll find out. All right, so that's that. All right, cool. Zoom over a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. All right, cool. Boom, 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 boom. Nice rejection so far. Just waiting to see if it can actually break structure. Mm, 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 mm. So yeah, set some alerts. I got my alerts and wait for something to happen here. Boom, boom, boom. I put some alerts over here too for the Russell to flip and regain that 10 a.m. price, but yeah, it's tough because you could say that, all right, what about this move lower here? We got a nice move lower here on this sweep here that gives you SMT and a nice break higher. So the bullish scenario would be, let's say 10 a.m. opens higher, pulls back, tries to break 10 a.m. or retest 10 a.m. of some sort like this, right? Pulls back, fails to really get up under it. It just continues to show that bullishness. Then that's when I'm like, all right, I gave price a chance to try and flip 10 a.m. It doesn't want to flip it. This could be that open higher retest continuation type of day where it never really gives you that reversal. It just gives you a continuation from 10 a.m. price. So it just depends on how price responds. However, you do anticipate at least one of these to retest 10 a.m. to give you some sort of idea. Let me see, YM. Is YM underneath 10 a.m.? See, all right, there you go. So YM's already underneath 10 a.m. Let's see what happened at 9:30 here. See, it's the opposite now, right? Here you see 9:30, quick sweep lower, flip, boom. 10 a.m. opens, retest this area here. This is YM looks bullish. Power of three is telling you we broke structure off of the 9:30 flip. Why do I think this is the Judas? Because when we swept it, we broke structure the opposite way. Here, if you want to consider a bullish Judas, like let's say you think, oh, this is your Judas swing. That's not true because this never led to a break of structure the opposite way. So this would be your Judas on YM, right? This would be your Judas on YM. This is your break of structure. What did 10 a.m. do? 10 a.m. opened higher. However, it didn't sweep anything. Now you're looking at 10 a.m. and you're saying, all right, can we push down into here and sweep something before going higher? And then you got everybody else who's buying the NASDAQ right now, hoping that it goes higher, but there's no reason to buy this right now. Everyone's sitting in drawdown. Look at that. There goes the alert. Good job. Good patience. You know what I mean? Like it's like clockwork. It's the same protocol. And if it looks any different than what you would expect, just don't trade it. It's that simple, right? So now that we get this retest, we're going to find out if price can actually pull all of the others underneath 10 a.m., right? If so, that's going to lead me to believe it is time to short. If it fails to bring all the others underneath 10 a.m., then that's telling me that, all right, maybe something's up. And even over here, right? So this would be your confluence where you're saying, all right, if YM can't get above 10 a.m., then that's a red flag. It'll probably go lower as well. But like I mentioned, YM is a little bit more of bullish than the others. And then there you go, right? Look at these guys completely stopped out of a terrible trade. Even though people are gonna say, oh, this was an A+ inversion. No, it wasn't, bro. You're not taking into account the fact that the market does the same things 8, 9 times out of 10, right? It's gonna give you the same profile, right? Same exact trade. I'm sure thousands of people took this inversion. Easy stop out, right? So now You're asking yourself, why didn't that inversion work? Why didn't this and we swept the lows? We have SMT off the lows. Why didn't this inversion just send price higher? It's not that you're wrong. You're not completely wrong in the sense that maybe this could still go up bullish, right? If the others fail to flip 10 a.m. here, this could literally still be bullish. You know what I mean? But the concept of an inversion being the only thing you need to get into a trade, no, you need the power of three to work in your favor, right? So now let's say you're using inversions and you want to buy this. You would say, all right, now that we've seen price underneath 10 a.m., now that we've seen the power of three, at least try and go underneath 10 a.m. If this gives you an inversion here, right? Now you could say, all right, the others didn't bother to get underneath 10 a.m. NASDAQ's the weaker one. It fell underneath 10 a.m. An inversion here, maybe I can take that. That's a much better trade because you allowed for the power of three to at least interact here. And that looks like exactly what's about to happen. Failure to break this low, really nice. Yeah. Now this looks like you get this 1 minute gap here. If you're an inversion trader, even if you're an inversion trader, I still wouldn't buy it. Why? Why wouldn't I buy this? Because ES is the stronger one. I don't want to buy NASDAQ. I want to buy the strongest one. And the strongest one is already at these highs. So this is where even if you're so bullish, you accept the fact that this is just not where I want to buy. I don't want to be buying at the top in bearish territory. I want to buy at a discount. And if NASDAQ was the stronger one, I would buy NASDAQ. I would be looking to buy this flip. I don't buy the inversion. I buy the flip of the entire candle, right? So you see this entire bearish candle here. A lot of people like to fixate on a gap that means nothing. You just get lucky sometimes if that keeps going. This bearish candle is responsible for that gap. So wait for the entire candle to be broken. Then you get a better indication of the volume, right? And then boom. That would make a lot more sense. I'm not looking to trade NASDAQ though, even though yesterday NASDAQ was pretty strong for New York session, which was strange. Maybe it happens again today. I don't know, but let's see how price responds at this high, man, because we're still seeing a lot of bearish pressure. It looks like ES maybe wants this high. If we sweep this high here and then crash and start flipping 10 a.m., I'm going to short NASDAQ, anticipating a lot lower today. And that's it. Like, you know, win or lose, you can't really over fixate on being right. You just have to understand how these charts work, man. You don't buy at the highs, you don't buy at the lows. You wait for sweeps, you look for reversals, or you wait for sweeps and you look for failures to reverse. It's really that simple. Sometimes it's not that simple with like what the market's giving you, but when it's presented, it is that simple. Anything else in your trading, you're gonna just confuse yourself. You're gonna FOMO in, all that type of stuff.
This indicator just made $3,600 trading today's New York AM session. Comment bot down below for free access before we get shut down. It trades the same setup every single day. Break above or below the time-based range. A sweep of internal liquidity. Break above 0.5.
There goes that selling pressure once again, right? You see how no one, I'm looking on YouTube, no one else, let me check Lumi. Lumi's probably the only one drawing up shorts. No, not even. All right, no one's drawing up shorts. And this, and I should short this on oh, this is tough because now it's gone. This rejection of 10 a.m. was beautiful. It's just hard to short it when you see one is trying to take that high. But let's see here. See what happens. The so what do we just talk about? You don't want to short the lows, right? So these are the setups that get difficult, and you have to just let them go without you, bro, because I don't want to short near a low. We know that price likes to short. I'm sorry, price likes to take out lows and reverse. That's probably the most consistent part of trading, which makes trading as hard as it is, because what do people think when they see price going higher? They want to buy. But if you're not understanding how the market works, you're going to buy right at the top because we just took out these highs. People are thinking this is a breakout. No, it's going to turn around on you. Same thing here. People thinking this is going to short and dump. No, it swept the low. It's going to turn around on you. Same thing here. People are thinking, oh, I need to short this. This is just going to short. Chances are it's going to turn around on you. So it's like once you truly understand that, once you get burnt so many times trying to chase that move after these expansions like this, you'll start waiting for pullbacks. And that's where I'm at with it. Like, it's like, all right, I don't really have a choice here but to wait on these pullbacks just to be safe. But NASDAQ gave you, like we talked about, the first break of structure after tapping into this zone. NASDAQ gave it to you. ES is the one that really just didn't give us a chance to get in. I was hoping for a nice strong move underneath 10 a.m. on both these charts. However, NASDAQ gives it to you. NASDAQ gives you the short, right? 100-point stop. And then you go break even at that Asia low and you just look for the dump to begin, right? And this, now that's a good entry, right? If you were to enter up here, why is that better? Because now I can go break even. If it tries to reverse on me, I don't care, right? Let's see if ES starts to catch up here, because NASDAQ's doing really well. But you can't tell me we didn't just draw this trade up while everyone else is looking at buys. We just told you guys the shorts are looking way better. YM pushing up to the high, leaving equal highs. So now it's like, all right, I may give this a stab on ES. It's just tough, man. I hate when it does this though. But if it does short, I'm not even upset that I missed it. I'm not even upset that I missed it, because it just seems like they're way too out of sync right now. And you don't want to get in here and literally price reverse because NASDAQ's taking out all the lows. Man, that's tough. How many points is this? It's up about 90 points right now. Good job. This is what you call trading. It's 10:30, so I don't want to feel like I'm missing the entire move, but there it is. Beautiful short. Ah, man, I wish it was a little bit cleaner right here, man. What time did we break this low? We broke this low at 10:14. Meanwhile, ES was still going higher. That sucks. Man, that sucks. I'm hoping that this leads to a clean reversal. I think it will, to be honest. I think it will. I think it leads to a clean reversal. If this ends up selling for the rest of the day, then there's nothing I can do about it, right? But I'm hoping that maybe this 6 a.m. price can hold. Remember this area here that we had drawn up that I said I wanted to see price pull back into, 30-minute order block. You can see it here, right? Price is tapping into it right now as we speak. So maybe this holds, but you can't tell me we didn't just draw this trade up. We drew up the higher time frame bearish area of interest sitting here in red. We said that this, if price is truly bearish, this level could hold and you can get an easy short out of it. And we said that underneath 10 a.m. would be the trigger. The only thing is NASDAQ was the only one that broke 10 a.m. And then the next candle, it was already at those lows where you would be break even. Like you could have taken a gamble here. You could have been like, all right, ES is underneath 10 a.m. Let me just put a short on right there and hope that ES continues to these lows as well. You could have taken that chance, right? It's just tough to take those types of trades because you need to go break even right away. And NASDAQ had already taken out a lot of sell side. So I don't want to be that person to FOMO into a trade. Either I get a good entry or I don't. It's that simple. The real skill is knowing where price is trying to get to. As long as you can do that, you don't have to catch every trade. You just catch the good ones and you'll win those. But yeah, looking around, I don't see anybody else in the short or even thinking about shorts. However, I think what I'm thinking is because this high was never taken, right? You saw 10 a.m. open higher, but it didn't sweep anything, right? That right there is a red flag for me. If I go look at the Russell, okay, 10 a.m. did, okay, we did sweep here. All right, so that right there is actually nice, okay? That right there is actually nice. Why is that nice? 10 a.m. does open, does sweep this high. Look at how price reverts from this 10 a.m. level. I'm thinking that we're about to continue higher here, guys. I'm going to start looking for a flip. How do I draw this up? It's going to be something as simple as this right here. You need to see price generate a lower high and break it. This break right here would be my lower high entry. Right, notice I'm not using a ICT entry model. I'm literally just looking at the trend of price, looking for a price to start trending in the opposite direction, putting in lower highs and breaking those lower highs, putting in higher lows, protecting those higher lows, making new highs. Very simple, right? You could even say, all right, a strong close back above 10 a.m. here is a long, right? You could even say that. A strong close back above here, stop down here about 16 points, go break even at that previous weekly high. That is what you call a solid entry, right? YM should be still bullish, right? Yeah, you see YM stair stepping higher. You see we flipped underneath 10 a.m. We're giving SMT. This is an inversion where you're like, all right, this inversion matters to me because this would send price back above 10 a.m., back above the previous daily high, right? Price would be respecting this weekly open and midnight price once again for the third, fourth time, right? So that right there would be a clean inversion where you say, all right, 10 a.m. opens higher, fails to sweep anything. Instead, now this turns into a 10 a.m. open lower. Why? Because 10 a.m. sweeps liquidity and then reverts. Yeah, I'm gonna long this inversion, guys. Why not? You see what I mean? Like, you see how if you wait, you should be able to put together a narrative and just give that narrative a chance. There's nothing else to do here. I wouldn't short this, so I'll probably end up longing this. I would want to see both get above this gap though, man, just to make it fair and square. No funny business. Clear 5. And like I said, I'm reducing my risk today, so 5 micros will be fine. That's only about $400. Let's go 1 minute chart. All right, there's a 1 minute bearish gap sitting right here. Let's see if we can get above it. Because it should start to reject here, man. If you understand how these algorithms work, these bearish areas, they tend to pretend to be bearish. Sometimes you get that V-shaped recovery where it just slices all the way through it. But typically you get that push into it, pretend to be bearish, get that lower high, and then that break. But this looks like it's gonna try to run. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 5 here, maybe even 4. Yeah, 4 looks clean, a clean $300 here, about half risk. And I'm waiting to see, like I mentioned, I don't care for the gap. I want to see this entire candle get closed through. And then try to push this higher, man. See if price can take this higher. Right? So long story short, it was looking like a 10 a.m. open higher sweep flip, right? But instead it turned into price did not sweep external, right? Instead, price just trades into a bearish order block, continues bearish, sweeps sell side. Now with sell side being swept, you're getting that divergence, which lets you know that this could be manipulation. Chances are that this is manipulation. All right, with that manipulation, I want to know how price responds. Does it just rip through these bearish areas? Does it give you a nice shift, a nice market structure shift? What does it do, right? So this is what we're waiting for. And here goes your bearish pressure, right? This is what I'm talking about. You want to see price pretend to be bearish here and then flip it, absorb the sellers that are in that gap, and then come right back for those highs. That's a bullish signature, and I'll be buying that. Beautiful, beautiful. The thing that helps me keep this bullish bias, our best friend over here is no longer bearish at all. It's not bearish whatsoever. This 930 sweep lower, right? 930 sweep lower. That break structure is holding up pretty solid right now after 10 a.m. So I think we're going to see a nice rally higher. Also, that PPI data that we saw earlier was bullish. It was very bullish, and it is 1030 now. 1030 reversals are a real thing. So let's see if we can breach this high here, and that'll be my entry confirmation, right? So you can genuinely put together a trade idea and say that if I'm wrong, I'm okay with that, because if this is a short, this is the ugliest short in America. Why would we push lower, fail, leave SMT, respect this bearish gap right now? You see how it pretended to respect it, push lower, fail again, and then break that internal high of that rejection point right here. Why would it do all of that if it's bearish, right? So if it does end up going bearish, these are the trades I'm okay with losing, because I'm like, bro, there was no way I would have shorted that. So if it does short, GG's NASDAQ, good job. You faked me out after giving the most intricate fake out in the world, right? So with this, let's see if we close above that 2-minute gap yet. I'm gonna try to make sure. I don't want to get in too early because we're still rejecting bearish areas right now, but it's starting to look obvious that price wants higher. Make sure that there's no FOMO, right? You just wait, because we haven't flipped this gap over here. Russell is running right now. We know the size of the trade. I'll probably go like 16 points on the stop, just because, like I said earlier, these stops are important. You need a massive stop loss and just let your trade play out. If I go to the 4-hour, my target should be this previous weekly high, if I'm doing it right. Previous weekly high, yep, that's where I'll go break even. Or maybe forget a break even. That's where I'll take some profit, because this market sucks lately. Pullbacks are almost 99% likely. So take some profit here, TP1, and then look for just like a base hit type of day. Because my stop loss is so big, I can't sit here and be like, oh, I want a 40-point trade. No, bro. Take a 1-to-1, 17-point stop. And I honestly, I'm not gonna put my stop weight on there. Give me like a 15-point stop underneath that 6 a.m. price, midnight price, 2 a.m. price, 9:30 price, previous day high, 10 a.m. price. Realistically, if this was regular price action, I would put my stop underneath this most recent swing point. Right here where price failed to go lower. Notice it's holding 9:30. Notice it's holding at 2 a.m. I'd put my stop probably like here at 12 points. But because price has been weird lately, I'll go like 14 points. Yeah. 14 points and then target 1.25 R. All right. And you see how waiting for this candle high to break helps you avoid drawdown compared to those people who are buying this right now off of an imaginary gap inversion. I find that so funny how a gap means more than the actual candle itself to 99% of traders. The gap is a part of the candle, people. The gap is a part of the candle. Oh, we got people in shorts right now. Hold on. Wait, what happened to the one girl who shorted? Oh, yeah, she got blasted. Yeah, people shorting before 10 a.m. Yeah, people buying right at 10 a.m. I'm not gonna lie though, this gap is holding nicely. Oh my goodness. This gap is holding, guys. I don't know. This might be a little spooky. We'll see. It has to break though. It has to break. But and then now you got people in shorts, which starting to look like a good move. That's a good move. See, yeah, now you're starting to see, okay. That's a lot of pressure, man. That's a lot of pressure, kid. How would I draw up a short? I wouldn't short this. You have to be okay with that. The reason I wouldn't short it is because NASDAQ is taking out everything already. So if price were to be like, all right, I'm done going lower, you're going to get slapped in the face. You're literally gambling. You're hoping that it keeps going. There's no way for you to know that this wants to keep going unless you're like Trump with insider trading. There's no way for you to know that this wants to keep going. 0%. Especially with this massive divergence. All right, so let me show you. Tanya's in the short, but she's fine though. It's a bad trade, but once it starts running in your favor, just go break even. Right? So here, this is it right here. I think she just went break even. Yep, smart. So can't even knock it at this point. I wouldn't follow that type of trade, right? If you were like, hey, short this, bro. This looks like a good short. I would say nope. But have fun, bro. Good luck, right? That's the only thing I would say. But here's the short that they're in. I would say have fun. Good luck. Shorting at the lows is not my MO, right? Unless there's like a clean retest. Like we sweep a low, we take out all sell side, and we pull back a good amount, right? That's the short, right? Not bad because it gives you a nice push and you're at break even. Pretty good. Cool. But now the question is, does price try and flip here? That's the question. I don't know. We're about to find out though. But this thing is bleeding. I don't know, man. I think it goes higher, if you ask me. That's just me though. I think it's too late for me to be on board with the shorts, so naturally I'm like, whatever. The shorts are dead to me. Let's get a clean market structure shift. But this is funny how I love how this is a perfect example of what I was saying about why do people short gaps? I mean, inversions of gaps, as if the gap actually matters. This gap means nothing. The candle is the source of all of this bearish pressure, right? If you were smart enough to wait for this entire candle to be flipped, you would have saved yourself this immediate stop out. What's the difference, right? What's the difference between this gap right here? Let's just go focus on the high of the candle. What's the difference between this gap here and the gap underneath it that was broken? What's the difference? Difference is you actually got a closure past the actual gap and the candle. That's the difference. You see what I mean? You're picking up what I'm putting down?
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Do you see what I mean? This gives you, all right, if you were to buy that, I would have been like, all right, that's not terrible. You can go break even if price fails to break this gap. Cool. All right. And you're chilling. But what are you guys noticing now? These levels are starting to show some life, bro. If we can just start flipping higher here, I will definitely take a buy, but I'm in no rush. I don't feel obligated to trade this price action. No trade is just as good as a winning trade because the only objective as a trader is to not lose money and take good trades. And literally, that's all. But good patience so far, man. It sucks I couldn't catch this short though because I was hoping ES would have been in sync. But next time, I may just take it anyway because I'm going half risk. And this thing is dead now. So yeah, when you see stuff like this, you see how it's breaching all of these timestamps. If we get a strong close underneath here, then yeah, I would say ES is probably going to take these lows as well. Oh my goodness, that's a dumper. A dumperoni. That's a dumperoni. But yeah, next time I'll put it in my notes, right? That's the type of trader I am. If I see, let's say, a couple days go by and the setup that I want, it's running away from me because the weaker one is giving you the entry well before the stronger one, I'll make note of it, and then the next time I see it, I'll take it. It's that simple. You know what I mean? Because I've seen it play out multiple times. It's like, all right, I can add that to my toolkit to the point where it's like, all right. You know what I mean? Add it to the toolkit to the point where it's like, all right, well, I know which one's weaker. I know NASDAQ's weaker. If we get that push open higher and flip that I'm looking for, I'm going to short it. So this will go down as, all right, next time I see this, I may take it. But like I said, the best part about today's session is you didn't see me trying to buy this. You didn't see me FOMO into anything. And that's my job every day. Just keep it clean. All right, come on, let's flip. Let's flip. Come on now. Let's flip, man. I want to see a flip. Why? Because look at the Russell. There's no weakness here. There's no weakness here, right, guys? It's still early. We're still inside of that 30-minute candle. And look at what we're tapping into. The same 30-minute order block that I talked about pre-market. So it's hard for me to short this. I can't short this. You see what I mean? Like, the short was up here. This is the short. This is the long areas. We're in a long area and we're giving massive divergence off of that long area. All we need is a market structure shift, and I am down the longness. No hesitation. No market structure shifts higher, no trades. And I'm only going to be online until about 11:30. Keep it simple, right? Typically, you should have the move starting to go your way by 11:30. If not, then that means it's probably going to chop for the rest of the day. So But this just looks so weak, right? And if that's the case, the draw is going to be like we talked about. If I go back to this 4 hour and I show you where my bearish area was, this is your draw down here. Previous weekly low. Diverge off the high, break structure, price maintains the order block that was at the extreme. The only thing is, ES showed a lot of strength past this order block, but I guess not necessarily the most. Like, if you were to watch this order block here that supposedly should have held price, we're above it, right? But maybe price maintains this upper half here and just continues to bounce off of it, because we fell below it once, right? That should have been your sell-off. When price pushes above this high and then crashes below it, retested it, crashed again, this should have been your continuation where price just kept going lower all the way down. Instead, price climbs back above it again. I don't know. This looks like it's refusing to short, right? This is what you call a failure to continue lower. And we're back above it, showing more strength. And then now when I look to my charts, I say, all right, well, where are these order blocks? There's one. So if I were to really just focus in on the order blocks that were retested, you got this 4-hour order block that sent price above it. We retested it, sends price above it again. And then you have these 4-hour order blocks that are being tapped into right now. If I do this 4-hour order block right here, we break above it. We got a 4-hour gap. If we go down into it, I'm sure there is lower time frame order blocks, which I have highlighted. Yeah. So it's like, all right, price tapped into a very bearish area and then refused to go bearish. And then now we're seeing price tap into bullish areas that are replacing those bearish areas. And you're seeing this rejection. Bro, if we can just get a nice flip back above this weekly open and midnight price, look at the 5-minute. The 5-minute's giving you some good wicks in this area. Maybe even the 10-minute looks nice. Yeah, this looks clean, man. If these 10-minute candles continue to wick, the higher time frame, 15-minute, look at the wicks in this area. Look at the fair value gap. Look at the order block, right? You start seeing that go back above this weekly open, man, but I'm buying that. I'm buying that. I don't need an entry model. I'm so fed up with like ICT entry models because they play on your like psychology, because you're so fixated on looking for an entry model, and the market doesn't care about those entry models, bro. It's sad. Like, you can go like 30 days of trading straight ICT models and you can catch 30 fire trades. And then fast forward to the next month and you're looking for those same ICT models and they're nowhere to be found. And the market just leaves without you every time, or the market tricks you into getting in those ICT models and you just keep getting stopped out before the real move. And I'm just like, I'm to the point where I'm like, bro, I really don't need an entry model. I just need a legitimate bias. And I'll wait for the market to start shifting. I don't care what it looks like. It could be an inversion. It could be a change in the state. It could be whatever it wants to be, right? It could be a breaker. It could be whatever it wants to be. But as long as it starts to match my bias, I'm trading that. And that's literally the only way I was able to catch those trades last week, because there was no clean ICT entry models. And there haven't been any clean ICT entry models for me, the ones that I know, for the past like 3 weeks. So like here, this is what you call an entry ICT model, right? If I clean this up and I zoom in, what do you see? A low, a high, a low, and then a new high breaker. You have this down close candle right here as your last attempt to go lower. You're closing through it. Like I said, if I can get like a 5-minute close above this midnight with like a lower time frame reversal, all right, what else do you see? You see this bearish gap. No, that's not bearish gap. 1 minute bearish gap. What are we doing? We're closing through the entire candle. That's what you call inversion, all right? And then you have, like I mentioned, the breaker, Low, high, low, higher, high. Tapping into that breaker area, showing resistance. That's a lower time frame reversal. That's a lower time frame pivot. Let's look at NASDAQ to see if NASDAQ is giving you any of the same type of profile. Yeah, NASDAQ gives you an inversion, a low, a high, a low, a new high, breaker. We're tapping into this bearish gap right here. So you can highlight that. As I mentioned, you should anticipate bearishness from a bearish gap. So you really don't want to be trading it when it's tapping into a bearish gap. Just wait for the sells to get absorbed, or wait for price to close through that entire candle before getting involved. Saves you a lot of headaches, saves you a lot of bad trades. Like right now, I could have bought this based on that 1 minute breaker. But as I mentioned, you see NASDAQ tapping into a bearish gap. Why not just wait for price to break through that gap? Also, I like to have higher time frame confirmation. So I'm looking for maybe even a 10-minute close, bro. Like, these lower time frames are so evil. Like, they do the most for no reason. Maybe wait for like a 10-minute closure past the previous 10-minute candle while rejecting these levels, or wait for a strong 10-minute close past this 2 a.m. price. As you can see, 2 a.m. is a big wall right now for ES. You know, stuff like that. Try to give yourself as much of a threshold as possible to be patient. And now look, all the traders are gone for today. Tanya's the only one that played that short, which the short made more sense in the aspect of, if you're waiting for 10 a.m. to make its mind up and then fail, that was nice. You just say, all right, 10 a.m. failed to go higher, we flip underneath 10 a.m. let me try short. All right, fair enough. I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't take it. I would be like, well, be careful because it could reverse. NASDAQ takes those lows, but that's better than all the other trades we've seen today so far from these YouTubers. You know what I mean? So it's all about bias, bro. If you can understand that you just need to focus on your bias, you'll be all right. I caught the shorts early off the SMT, 938 SMT, rejected 5-minute SIBI all the way down. 178 points is nasty. Great trade, bro. Yeah, that's a banger. 178 points. That's fire. But you guys can see what I'm seeing. If this wants to continue lower, at this point, the shorts are pretty much dead to me. Let these things do whatever they want to do. But it's looking like ES is going to end up catching up here and taking out these lows, similar to what we're seeing here on the NASDAQ. The Russell, however, still pretending to be bullish. The Russell ends up flipping 10 a.m., then it's over. Yeah, ball game. I'm out of here. Yeah, if the Russell ends up flipping at 10 a.m., continuing lower, that's it right there. You guys got to start including that Russell in your paperwork, bro, in your homework. It'll save you a lot of issues when picking your bias. Yeah, it's very tough to short this here, especially when you look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ's tapping into exactly where you would want to see price start finding some support here. You got this 2 hour gap fill, which was unmitigated. So if I highlight this and I go drag it over, I'm sure you'll see some lower time frame order blocks in here. And you got one right here. Let's see, 10-minute. Nope, no 10-minute, 15-minute. Really, it was just a 5-minute order block sitting in the middle here. Something like that. 30-minute has to have something, right? Nothing, just gaps. Yeah, 5, 10, 15. Yeah. So the only thing I'm seeing is the order blocks accumulated above the gap, which price is tapping into right now. So I'm telling you guys, the first market structure shift, I'm buying it, and we're gonna see what happens. It's almost 11, so yeah, we got about 30 minutes left on stream. Great patience, great read on price. I had one trade idea. It really just ran without me, but to no surprise, the shorts are trading a lot better than the buys, right? The shorts are giving you beautiful deliveries. Let's see if the buys can give you something here, because look at what I was talking about. The Russell showing no weakness, failure to close under 10 a.m., right? Continuing higher, made one new high, two new highs after 10 a.m., showing good strength. Man, I like this. Hold on. I like this, man. You got this swing high right here. We just need a nice 5-minute close. Honestly, I think this will be the play here. A nice 5-minute close above 2 a.m. You can get in with like a 12-point stop, cover that low, and then target that. That right there is what you call a discounted beauty. You're buying at the lows, and you have a nice higher time frame target, decent RR. Let's just see if we can get some bullish pressure here. But the buys, as I mentioned, like the buys take forever. So there's a chance where this buy may not even develop until the PM session. You know, it's just garbage. Are we actually gonna get a good trade here, man? 6 a.m. price. Notice it was pretty much serving as beautiful support. Like I said, the higher time frame is giving. Look at this. Look at the 10-minute wicks off of this area. Beautiful, right? I would love to wait for a 10-minute closure, but that's how the markets are. It's weird. It'll give you these wicks, and then if you try to wait for like a 10-minute break of structure, the 10-minute candle will be way up here when it closes, and you'll be like, man, I missed it. So you gotta do a good job of like finding that good balance of like lower time frame, but not too low. Maybe like a 6-minute close. Yeah, I like that 6-minute. You can see that every time price closed above it on the 6-minute, you got a decent rally for the most part, except for here. But NASDAQ really didn't give you a strong close on the 6 minute. Yeah, let's see if we can get that 6 minute. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that's the play, man. No trade so far from me, but I'm just looking for a move back above this weekly open, and I'm long in it. Boom, 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 boom. But as I mentioned, I will not be sitting here all day waiting for this to go bullish. I got some good notes for tomorrow, to be honest. Probably the next time I see it, I'm gonna short that weaker one because it was tough though, because nothing else was telling you to take that short, bro. If you look at 10 a.m. here, Russell was nowhere near bearish, right? So I'm not upset with myself for not taking it. I probably won't take it next time either, just because it's like, why wouldn't the others agree with the proper bias? When the bias is correct, all three of these, you'll notice it. If you watch me trade long enough, or if you add it to your own trading, back test it, whatever, you'll notice that the best trades are when all three of these agree with the power of three. Russell, NASDAQ, S&P 500. When they all agree, bullseye. You'll catch banger after banger, payout after payout. When they don't agree, this is the type of price action you get. And if you're being honest with yourself, you really don't want to be trading this type of price action, right? That's just being real. I know it's hard as a new trader to sit on your hands, but you really don't want to be trading every single setup. You want to see those A+ momentum, those momentum trades that offer good confluence and obvious power of three across the board, right? But this gap right here is your main culprit. And it all starts with this swing high right here as well. Breaking this swing high is a shift in character. Breaking this is a breakout. And we're not on the 1 minute chart, right? I'm on the 2 minute, just to buy some patience here. So here we go, man. Last 30 minutes. I would love to see this 30-minute candle offer a power of three within itself. You see this accumulation here. Let's see if we can sweep it, flip it. Doesn't even have to sweep, but let's just accumulate, break, retest, and go. All right. Boom, boom, boom. We do have this gap here. It's not a higher time frame gap anywhere else. I'm gonna erase a lot of this. It's really buys or nothing right now. Boom, 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 boom. All right, cool. That's that. Let me get a screenshot of this 2 minute sell. If I was only watching NASDAQ, like if that was how I traded, I would have been in this short. But you can't trade like that, bro. That's tough. It's hard trading like that. And then you have that higher time frame order block that I was talking about. Maybe 1.5 risk to reward, break even at that level there. Download that. Save that for later if needed. Back to the 5 minute, maybe 6 minute. Yeah, we're chilling. You see how price is doing all of this, but then on the higher time frames, the candle just turns into a wick. This is the definition of time distortion. It's wasting as much time as it wants. Uh, cool. Cool. Yeah. No. Nobody else online right now. So, Tanya was the only one I saw take a good trade today. Everybody else took losses on terrible ideas. All right, there you go. There you go. There goes some heat, right? Same levels. Everything is nothing has changed. Only thing it's been doing is just wasting time. I think honestly that's the market's greatest advantage. The concept of, yeah, you may know where I'm going, Mr. Trader, but you don't know how long I'm gonna fake around until it's time to get there. But when you're someone like me, there's things you can use. It's called timestamps. These midnight price, weekly open, 2 a.m. price, those things right there, those are to my advantage. There we go. We close above it. I'm just gonna long it, and if it fakes me out, like I said prior, I can't be bothered, bro. I'm doing everything I need to do to see the markets the way they should be. And this looks like it's gonna close. Yeah, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna long this right now, my friends. Long it right now. Who cares if it's a little bit too early? Who cares? We're gonna get a close above this 2 a.m. is what I'm anticipating. If it wicks underneath this 2 a.m., that's just dirty, right? Because that's all I was waiting for. A strong close above 2 a.m. Let's see what happens in the next 30 seconds. It does stuff like this though, so that's why it's like, and look at it. It did all of that, and now it's back pretending like it can't break 2 a.m. I need a strong close above 2 a.m. here. There's 15 seconds left in this 5-minute candle. Let's see if we get that. If we don't get a strong close, I'll probably just cut it and wait, but why wouldn't it close above it right now? You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. It does this type of stuff though, so I can't even be surprised if it tries to be like, gotcha. All right, good job. All right, so we're gonna get a strong close here. We got the strong close. I'm in this. Stops underneath the low, only $300 risk, and I'm looking for this previous weekly high here. All right, let me see. Let me see. Oh, look at this, bro. Oh, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Let me see. Russell still pushing. I still don't think it's bearish, but this is what I mean by it. Literally, it can do whatever it wants to do. It closes above it on the 5-minute, but the 6-minute looks like a wick of confusion. It's all right, whatever. I'm in it now. Let me look at NASDAQ. Did we break anything on NASDAQ? Nope. Still inside of this bearish trap here on NASDAQ. What about YM? YM is at least above. Yeah, this is where I just accept the fact that I'm not bearish and my stops are below the low. I'm reducing my risk. Normally I do like 500. So about 295 on the risk. And we're in this bad boy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I do want to see a stronger like close here. We did get a 10-minute close back above 2 a.m. right? And then the very next candle just opens bearish as if it's just so bearish. But if you're so bearish, why are you immediately opening bearish? That's what you call a scam. Usually the real move of the candles happen towards the end of the candle, right? You know what I mean? Like the longer you trade, the more you understand that the entire anatomy of these candlesticks are scam likely. They like to wait until price breaks out to reverse. They like to start off extremely opposite before giving you the real expansion, right? They like to pretend to be one thing for the first half of the candle and then give you the real bias on the second half of the candle, right? So it's like all you can do is do your best to manage those shady candlesticks. I know NASDAQ, so this is kind of the same profile, right? Where we saw the short, where the short NASDAQ was weaker. NASDAQ gives you the confirmation well before everything else. And then it dumps. Here, ES is stronger. ES is giving you that confirmation way before NASDAQ even breaks out of anything. Let me go to the 1 minute, see if there's any bearish gap being broken. No, right here. Okay, yeah, so I guess NASDAQ did break this gap right here. This down close candle is your support for NASDAQ. Same thing for ES. We break through it. All right, this was the bearish gap. We broke through it once, retested the lows of this candle. All right, we broke through it once here at 1050. 1050 macro closes through that bearish candle on both charts. We retest, bro, what? NASDAQ is stronger right now? Notice we retested low here on ES. Failed to continue through the low. Turns around, breaks the high once again. And that's where I'm like, all right, that's my cue that price doesn't really want lows, it wants highs. So let me buy it above 2 a.m. Stops below these lows. See what happens. And then, like I said, somehow NASDAQ doesn't take this low here. We broke the gap, pull back, failed to take this low. NASDAQ could be somewhat more eager to go higher right now. And then here we go with the dump ski. It's a lot of heat right now, bro. It's a lot of heat. Imagine it does all of this and it doesn't even take these lows. It's just like, stop scamming, bro. I hate that it closed above here just for me to get in, though. It closed above it just so I could get in. What time is it? 11:15. Let's see. We'll find out here. It's either gonna blast me or it's not. It's at this point, it's coming for me. At this point, it's trying to take me out of here. Bruh. At this point, it's looking pretty spooky, right? That'll be all right, though. I don't think I can entertain anything else, and there it goes. Why are you so weird, bro? What are you doing? This looks like one of those trades that'll stop you out and then just keep going. I mean, not keep going, completely flip. There it is. Oh my goodness. What was the point of that? It's like it heard me talking about I just want to see a closure above 2 a.m. But that 6 minute didn't. For whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know. That 6 minute did not close. The 5 minute did. Now we're back at these lows here. Let's see what happens. I'll watch this for the next 15 minutes just to see if anything strange happens. But then I'll get out of here. Straight blasted. That's funny though. Only thing I'm seeing is this bearish gap got tapped into. It got tapped into and more selling pressure. That's another reason why I don't think I want to really be a buyer anymore. The buys are just way too hard to hold through. You get way too much heat when you take a buy. But when you take a short, bro, you get beautiful expansions on these shorts. Look at it go. Yeah. I need some kind of stairs for transition or continuation. I say I never trust moves after the violin pattern. On the 5 minute, I mean. Oh, so I mean, bro, it's like, bro, it's trading. Like, the more you trade, the more you realize that trading it's like a mix of a really good friend who you can you know your friend, you know how they behave, you know what to expect from your friend. And then there's a mix of like a bipolarness in there where like some days you're like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know what you're going through. You're still my friend, but I can't trust you today. Like, I don't know what's going through your mind. And that's just how I look at it, because you can't make sense of every trading day. And that's kind of why trading is a little bit overrated. Like, it's only fun for like like spurts. You have like a couple months where you're like banging out payouts, and then you'll go on a stretch just like everybody else talks about where they just can't win a trade. And it's like, why is it like that? I don't know. That's why I just try to have fun regardless, because I've made good money this year trading. So now this is where, when it gets tough, you just try to find ways to have fun, bro. Don't let it weigh on you. So like here, same concept, same exact concept. If it just looks like every single bearish gap, you need to be cautious. So like, where's the next bearish gap? Up here. Price taps into here, you might as well go break even. Because if we just tapped into this 1036 gap, let me just zoom in on ES. If we just tapped into this 1036 gap right here and dumped to the lows immediately, and then ends up climbing back above it, it just shows you that there's way too many sellers sitting in these gaps for you to ignore any bearish gap, right? So if price were to just sweep this low and then climb right back above here, if you were to buy that breakout above that gap, you need to be break even at this gap, because this gap could send price to another low. Way too many sellers in this market. Markets are a good mix of algorithm and actual buyers and sellers. The algorithm favors where the money is, right? So if there's more sellers in the market, you'll be seeing a bunch of power of 3 for sales. Like, leaving this high up here is diabolical. Maintaining these levels down here is even more diabolical. Like, let's say we end up just dumping. What was the point of pretending to be bullish here? It's evil. There's no other explanation. Why, if you know that there's more sellers in this market, you know that price has no intention of going higher, why are you bouncing off of this area and pretending to be bullish? No other reason than to get people to buy it so you can steal their money. it's it's lame, bro. And I don't know if summer price action has actually ever been this bad, bro. Last year, summer was okay. It wasn't this bad to the point where it's like the market is taking forever to do anything every day. Like, just look at it from this point of view, right? Market opened right here. Market opened right here. 10 a.m. opened right here. Look at the price. We've gone nowhere from the market open till 11:30 almost. The market has gone absolutely nowhere. On ES, NASDAQ, on the other hand, NASDAQ gave you a nice expansion somehow, right? How does that even make sense? One chart does nothing, the other chart expands. Same thing on the Russell. One chart does nothing, while NASDAQ is bleeding like no tomorrow. Makes no sense, bro. That's my problem with ICT. Summer was good last year. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember summer wasn't this bad. So it just makes you wonder, like, what's really going on? No clue. That's my problem with ICT. I've always expect some kind of manipulation. Sometimes nothing happens because price is fair. Oh, violin pattern. Okay. Yeah, bro. I've been trading long enough to understand that there really is no rhyme or reason sometimes. Like, and the best thing you can do is just lower your risk or maybe even take some time off. Like, I wouldn't blame you if you were like, yo, these markets have been really failing to expand. I may just walk away for a couple weeks or paper trade for a couple weeks. Genius idea, you know? Because when I'm looking at this, I'm like, yo, I came into today's session with a bearish idea. And the only chart that gave you a chance at a clean short was NASDAQ. Whereas, wow, now look, Russell, this is the first time the Russell is showing that it might close underneath 10 a.m. And that's just a 2-minute chart. You want to see it, maybe at least a 5-minute, right? Because that 5-minute a wick. And it's just like, what's really happening, right? Are we slowly grinding lower? Are we accumulating? Or are we preparing for a move higher? And at this point, I will accept that I don't really even care to know. I gave it enough time to try and make up its mind. I wouldn't be surprised though if we come back at like 3 p.m. and you look at the charts and you see, wow, this level ends up holding and price ends up pushing back to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised at that. But at the same time, it's not worth sitting around and waiting for. So yeah, it's if you're struggling with trading, first of all, this is the worst I've seen it in a while. So don't let it weigh on you too much. It will clean up. It will get to the point where we're back to getting payouts. Right? And I think that's where prop firms get the advantage, because when you're losing money on a prop firm account, you're not really losing real money, right? You may be losing the $100 that you put into it, and it's just up to you to control your evaluation spending. Don't sit around spending thousands of dollars on evals, right? You could do one eval a month until you start getting payouts, right? If you blow that eval, just wait until the new month starts to renew it or to buy a new one. Have some discipline, right? Don't sit there splurging through hundreds of dollars in 1 month when clearly this month has been trash, right? And then that way, even though let's say you lost your account, you lost $2,000 on your account, it's not a real $2,000 that was in your bank account, right? That would hurt a lot more than trading a prop firm. So I think that's where prop firm, that's where they get their advantage, man. Like when times are hard in the market, you're not blowing through your hard-earned money as fast as you would if you were trading a live account, right? So I would just say take it slow, man, and try to have fun. And if it's not fun for you, just step away until the market start expanding a little bit better. PA in afternoon has been better. Oh yeah, the catch-up. So the catch-up model, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. The catch-up model is, I don't know if it was just like a glitch or what, but it does not happen how it used to. It does not happen how it used to. It was as simple as, like, let's see if it's been, see, like today, for example, a catch-up model would have been like, let's say you have that SMT, which would have been 930, 10. You're just looking for an SMT to break structure. And then as soon as that break of structure happens, price runs back to sweep liquidity. So like you would have needed to see, let's say these aren't breaking structure. I guess you could say this 930 is a break of structure, right? So you break structure, but it would have had to been the other way. You want to see a break of structure lower, then you want to see price turn around as soon as it breaks structure lower, and then sweep with an SMT on the other hand. So it would have been like break here, sweep this high, and then obviously SMT on the weaker one, the other one doesn't sweep that high, and then starts to flip. The moment it starts to flip, like honestly, if this would have swept this high, this could have been a catch up, because you get a slight closure underneath here, very lame, but not too strong. Let's say this was a strong close. As soon as it breaks structure, price will run back to the opposite side, pretend that it's going the other way, sweep out that, and then turn aggressively. And then this would have been your entry for a short, for it to catch up, right? It'll catch up with the other chart and start taking out lows. So this almost was a catch up, but I haven't seen that pop up. That was another good example of, we had an edge that would show up like 2 or 3 times a week, and it had 100% win rate. I was milking prop firms off of that model, and then it just stopped showing up. It just vanished. I was like, bro. It kind of hurt a little bit, because it literally just stopped showing up for months, to the point where I just stopped looking for it. But maybe this could be a catch up. But you need to see a break, a pullback. It was a whole sequence to it. And it was funny because it was giving you a clean sequence every single time. Those were the good old days. That catch-up model was free money. My goodness. I was full porting those. Every time I saw it, I would just go max risk, and it will pay out. I was like, what? That's a perfect example of how these algorithms can just go without. You can find a glitch, or you can find some sort of entry model that is very, very accurate, really good win rate. And then the next month, that same exact concept just never shows up. Or even worse, the same concept starts taking losses after loss after loss. And you're like, what is happening? But it is 11:30. You see this same area pretending to hold. As I mentioned, if this is bearish, this is the ugliest short you could ask for. If it's bullish, it's starting to become the ugliest buy you could ask for. And price is appearing to be stuck in this range, man. Meanwhile, Russell still above here. You got this bearish gap that sent price lower, sweeps the low. You got another bearish gap. Like I mentioned, every single bearish gap just seems to have unlimited sellers. Every one of them is giving you a sell-off. You could just put an order in any bearish gap and you'll get some sort of profit. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll keep showing up because you know, I try to have fun with it. I don't let losses weigh on me anymore because I've been trading way too long to understand that just sometimes the markets will do whatever they want to do. But as long as my bias continues to put me in good position, put me in good shape, I'll keep trading. You know what I mean? Like, my bias has been really, really good, even in these bad markets. But your bias won't stop you from getting stopped out, as we can see, right? This could end up being a bullish idea, and I got stopped buying this this move right here, excuse me. Maybe the 4-minute is a cleaner representation, right? We saw the 5-minute close above 2 a.m., but what happened on the 4-minute? A complete doji candle. Maybe even the 3-minute. Yeah. So we got this is your point of interest here, man. Long above that. I would, like, you see what I mean? Like, you see how you can draw up your idea? Your bias does the dirty work for you. These timestamps, as you guys know me, timestamps have helped me my entire trading career. Without them, I wouldn't be able to trade. They help confirm your bias. They help give you a narrative, and they actually matter, right? These timestamps actually mean something. If we go to the 30-minute, you'll see that this 6 a.m. price, let's clean these drawings up. You'll see that this 6 a.m. price is a strong pivot for this 30-minute chart, right? Look to your left over here. 2 a.m., strong pivot. 6 a.m., another pivot that's coming into play here, right? So these timestamps pretty much do all the dirty work for me, and they help confirm my bias. When I'm looking at this 2 a.m. price right now, yeah, I want to see a strong close above it. Maybe on the 3-minute instead of the 5-minute, which is strange. I don't know. It's stupid. That's another thing. Why are there so many time frames available on these candles? I feel like there should be like a default time frame. 5, 10, 15, 30. Being able to go to like a 7-minute or 8-minute just confirms that these candles really don't mean as much as we want them to. Every time frame can give you a different setup. 1,000 buy orders filled at 76.02. Uh, 76.02, 1,000 buy orders. I don't know, bro. There's a battle going on between the weekly open price here, midnight price, and then this 6 a.m. price. But yeah, you're right, bro. Time to pack it up. Find other hobbies, because trading can be fun, it can be good, but it can also drain you, bro. Don't let it drain you. I know people who spend thousands on evals and then blow them up within the same week. So it's not a game. Yeah, guys. At this point, there's no point in buying this. And the shorts are pretty much taking out a lot of the sell side. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll draw this up just to put it in the Discord, just in case later on it actually starts to expand. But for whatever reason, bro, and it sucks, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's, it doesn't suck. To see the markets consistently do this, where it can just sit still for 2.5, 3 hours and do absolutely nothing on a day-to-day basis. This is the third day this week we've seen this. That genuinely sucks, bro. It genuinely sucks. It just makes you wonder why. Like, what? You can't tell me that the big banks aren't trading. Like you said, bro, 1,000 orders just got filled. You can't tell me that the big traders are not in the market. Maybe they aren't. I don't know. I don't know how we would determine whether they're trading at all, but it sucks, bro. 3-minute chart. Part of me wants to get my $300 back, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's what makes trading fun with me. Like, patience is fun to me. Like, I'll be patient as long as you pay me out, right? I'll be patient. I'm okay with that. But sometimes it backfires because you'll sit here and be waiting around for something that's just not even worth it. And you won't find out that it's not worth it until 3 hours go by and it still does nothing. And you see this just chopping and chopping and chopping. Yeah, man, this is so bad. Even a patient trader in these markets is in trouble. The impatient trader is in a lot of trouble. The patient trader still has some trouble to deal with. As you can see, right? $30-minute candle did what? 30-minute opens, taps into 6 a.m. 1-minute chart closes above here. Bro, you can't pay me to short this. But it refuses to go higher. I want to leave, but then part of me is like, bro, how are you going to get better at trading these conditions unless you're patient? It's only 11:30. I usually get off around 12. Let's just see if this breaks out in the next because you have some levels here that get my attention. You have this bearish gap where price clearly wants lower but can't go lower. This bearish gap here. You have the weekly open, and then there's this 3-minute bearish gap that smacked me in the face when I tried to buy it earlier. So those are the only two levels that would need to break in order for me to think higher. But at this point, you'd probably be better off just putting a short somewhere in one of these bearish gaps and just hoping that it fills you in and dumps off of one of those bearish gaps, because for whatever reason, the shorts are giving much more life. And she said they're on vacation. Maybe so, man. Maybe we need a vacation. I'm going on a small vacation this weekend coming up. Going to Orlando, Florida. Which Orlando is pretty fun now. They have a ton of stuff going on out there. They're just constantly building stuff out there. And it's gonna be hot. Got a nice little resort going. So I get to go swimming in water parks and things of that nature. But maybe we need like a full month vacation from trading. Was on the chart for 2 weeks and still doing nothing. Charts are exhausting. Definitely find a new hobby. I agree, man. I agree, man. It's like it's one of those things where it's like you're so disappointed that it's almost unbelievable. It's like why do we have to deal with this? Trading is already hard enough as it is. And now you just drain the volume out of it. And the hard part is just cutting ties and being like, all right, if you want to behave this way, I'm done with you until you show me otherwise. But I think that's the next step, man. We might just stop streaming, stop looking at charts. All you have to do is just check your Instagram feed. Everyone will let you know when the markets are back to normal. You will see everyone posting about it. Yeah, it's tough, bro. It's tough, bro. I feel you though, bro. Just don't let it bring you down. And like I said, if you need to take a break, I might need to do it just to lead by example. I may just take a fat break. And like I said, look at your stream. I'm sorry, your feed, your Instagram feed, your TikTok feed. All the other traders will let you know when the markets are back to normal. Everyone will be posting about it. Just make sure you have some good notes though, because you're gonna be rusty when you come back, unless you have a good notebook. All right, yeah, I'm done watching this, man. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just draw this up. Anything above this high, long, and that's it. No shorts today. Which sucks because I had the short on the table. I can't fault myself for not taking it because the Russell has made us a lot of money lately just by using it as confluence. Russell's not bearish and hasn't been bearish all morning. Nasdaq's the only one that gave that 10 a.m. break at that time. ES was still pushing towards the highs. So yeah, I wouldn't have taken that, knowing what I know. And here we are. I feel like this is gonna just play out well after the fact. So I'm okay with missing this one. What I'll do is though, I'll finish out this week. We'll see how this week ends. And if I need to put together like some time off just to, give the market what it deserves. It doesn't deserve our attention, bro, when it's behaving like this. So yeah, if the rest of this week ends up being very, very lethargic, then maybe just the month of July may be off limits, and then we'll plan accordingly. I think that's a good idea because first of all, I would be leading by example, and then second of all, you guys will get the time to recoup. Like this type of price action can really ruin your trading career because you'll get too down on yourself trying to trade this. So let me screenshot this, download. Actually, let me put a note. BOS above this doing equals longs. No trade under there. Boom. All right, cool. Yeah. So, like I said, if you are going to be trading this, find ways to have fun. But I don't think this market deserves our attention. Maybe it'll start to cooperate once everybody walks away and the market can't steal anybody's money, and then it gets itself in trouble. If we all just stop trading, big banks included, the algorithm would lose its mind. All right, here we go. I'm out of here, guys. Want to take the time to pray and just be grateful and ask for guidance and energy and growth in all aspects of life. We enjoy trading, but at the end of the day, there's more to life. And I pray that everyone finds their purpose outside of technology, outside of computers. Find your purpose and grow each and every day. Bless our families, please, Lord. Keep us safe and keep us motivated to do the right things. In Jesus' name, amen. And we are out of here, bro. I'm gonna go play some video games and have some breakfast. Oh man. Hey Rock, I stepped away for a little bit. I wanted to tell you that market have already hit its objective around AM session, so it's going to chop around. Yeah, it's been chopping, bro. The only thing that's not chopping is NASDAQ. NASDAQ, well done today. NASDAQ gave you a decent expansion, but ES, on the other hand, still has some work to do, whether it's bullish or bearish, But if you guys like scientific content, I like that type of stuff where they talk about here, let me show you what I was watching. Boom, your channel. Let me show you what I was watching. I like the videos. So it was this. No, it was another one. History. Let me go history. Yeah, if you guys like scientific content, one of the most interesting concepts right now is the quantum realm. I don't know if you guys are familiar with quantum physics and things of that nature, but that is very intriguing to me. Here, let me screenshot this for you guys. It's called the quantum theory of consciousness. So if you guys aren't familiar with the quantum realm, I'll give you guys like a brief explanation. It's a bit complex, but essentially quantum computers, quantum physics is taking over the science realm because it's giving access to the subatomic particles, like protons, neutrons, that small of a particle. They're building computers with those tiny particles and transferring information with them, which allows quantum computing to be the fastest, quickest form of technology that we have. And it can solve equations, it can do all these tasks way faster than anyone could have ever imagined. And it's helping with things like medicine, it's helping with things like algorithms, AI. And that's the kind of the scary part, because quantum computing is going to take AI to the next level. Right. And this is what I was watching. It's called, I'll drop it in the Discord too. But it's all like, it's all very interesting. Once you learn about quantum physics and quantum entanglement, and how these tiny particles have almost like superpowers, and we're able to observe how you can, like, basically you can put an unlimited amount of workload on these tiny particles and they'll get the job done. They're like invincible, they're unstoppable in a sense, extremely powerful. And yeah, there's a bunch of concepts around it that are very interesting. The top two is this one for me, the quantum theory of consciousness, where it's basically telling you that the quantum realm proves that um consciousness does not ever stop. That's what the quantum realm is basically starting to reveal to a lot of those scientists, that consciousness is infinite. Kind of like how they say like energy can't be destroyed, like it only transfers over. Quantum physics is basically proving that your consciousness, like who you are as a person, will never go away. It's crazy. It's and you have to watch it to get an idea of like how they're connecting those dots, because you would think, how is that possible? How can you prove that consciousness does not end? But the quantum realm is opening the door to all of that. I like watching that type of stuff on my free time. I'll drop it in the Telegram now. And I may start even doing like reaction videos to this type of stuff, because I don't see anybody else doing it and I like it. So I can watch it all day and do like a quick reaction of what what I'm thinking, how that applies to real life, how that applies to God. Because like all this stuff is interesting, how the quantum physics is like the first form of science in a way that is almost undeniably confirming that God exists. There's another video I think I dropped in there. It was called let me go look at it. It was called boom 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 boom, the observer effect. Yeah, it plays in the same thing. Where is it? Boom boom boom, liked videos. Here it is, right here. It's called the God is God the ultimate observer? Because like in quantum physics, there's two terms here that really stand out to me. It's quantum quantum entanglement and superposition. Look up those two words when it comes to quantum physics. And then this is the video here that I was watching as well. This one's pretty long though, but here's another one that really ties quantum physics to God, right? You got Is God the Ultimate Observer? Quantum Physics Documentary 2026, which I dropped that one in the Telegram as well. Let me see. Here, let me drop this in there, paste that there, delete. But maybe you guys are familiar. I'm not sure, but these videos are very, very mind opening, and they help me. They help me with my mentality of just life in general. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. All right. So that's fine. Cool. So yeah, these are the ones I dropped them in the Discord and in the Telegram. But if you like good TV or like good food for thought, the quantum realm, and I'm really considering creating like a YouTube channel and just doing stuff on quantum physics because it's a very new concept and it's going to change the world. It's already changing the world, whether people know it or not. But AI relies heavily on quantum physics, um, and essentially, this is the fundamentals of creation. Where like, and then yeah, this is another one, observer effect. These terms here, um, if you guys want, I can explain them real quick. But these terms essentially are what make quantum physics so interesting, right? Where you see um, quantum entanglement is very, very interesting. Where it basically describes how one one particle at the subatomic level, meaning at its smallest form, can be entangled with another particle, right? And what does that mean? It just simply means that these two particles can be anywhere in the world. It's crazy, like it's really mind baffling. But these two particles can be anywhere in the world and still be entangled, meaning that whatever happens to this one happens to this one. So if this one were like, just for the sake of examples, this is not how it would happen in real life. But for example, let's say this one gets freezing cold, or this temperature changes, or this one changes colors. Let's see if I can fill this in style background. Yeah. Let's say this one changes colors, right? Instantly, this one, the particle that's entangled with it, instantly changes as well, and they match. At all times, they're entangled, and it defies the speed of light. It defies like the time. It basically eliminates the factor of time, where science would tell you everything has to adhere to time, right? Where everything is subject to time passing by. Quantum entanglement proves that these subatomic particles are outside of time. They don't adhere to the time that we adhere to. These things happen simultaneously, right? Quantum entanglement, a massive discovery. Let me see, when was that discovered? When was quantum entanglement proven? 2015. Confirming that quantum entanglement is real. So basically, whatever happens to these particles completely changes everything. It doesn't matter how far away they were, right? Almost confirming that if God were to create Earth with certain properties, the same properties that are linked to Earth will appear all over the world. And what happens here can affect what happens millions of miles away. What happens on another planet can affect what happens here. Blah, 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 right? Quantum entanglement. And then you got superposition. Superposition is interesting as well because these particles are essentially, it's almost like a stem cell. You guys are familiar with stem cells, where like all humans start off with the same cells, whether you're a boy or a girl. They all start off the same, and then it branches off. You become a boy, it branches off, become a girl, blah, blah, blah. Superposition is the concept that these particles start off with no identity. Every every particle starts off with no identity, whether it's a proton or a neutron or a photon, whatever it is, it starts off blank in superposition. It's just sitting there waiting to be given its identity. Another thing that points to God. So these particles start off with no identity and then it's given a purpose. Once it's given its purpose, it locks in, it never changes. You won't see it change. You won't see these particles just change on their own, right? Superposition, and how these scientists are using superposition to do experiments is crazy. You can get particles in superposition, gather them at their earliest state, and then the observer effect comes in where you can observe something, and once these particles are observed, meaning interacted with, that's what observing means in science. It means once they're interacted with. Like, for example, if this was a superposition right here and you shined light on it, like you shined a flashlight on it, the photons from the light interacts into it, and this turns into, it goes from superposition and then it turns into a photon. It basically transforms into whatever interacts with it first, right? So those concepts are talked about a lot in these videos. You guys can give a spin on those if you have free time, or if you're just driving and you want to listen to something that'll open your mind up a bit. Definitely will change the way you look at things when you hear how these scientists are interpreting these discoveries, right? Like, what do these discoveries actually mean to science itself? And a lot of these discoveries are changing the way scientists look at things. Yeah, bro, it's beautiful. Sounds like, yeah, like a butterfly effect or something like that. It's pretty good. And then, like I said, this video here where it talks about the observer effect and how quantum theory of consciousness that's terrifying scientists. This is a good one. This is a good one. It's basically telling you that no one will experience what it feels like to die. That's basically what it's telling you. Just like these subatomic particles, they never die. We're basically built up of these particles, and no one will ever experience what it feels like to die. You'll experience pain, right? But pain is not death. You'll feel the pain, but your consciousness will never die. It'll just go on somewhere else. And for science to start acknowledging that, that's a big step, because a lot of scientists don't believe in God, but now that's starting to change, so let me know what you guys think. If you guys watch it, definitely let me know. We could chat about it in the chat room. And yeah, maybe we dive into some quantum stuff for the next couple weeks until the markets get back in tune with things, That'll be fun, actually. We'll see. But yeah, you guys take care. Let me remove all these drawings and clean up my chart. Like I said, I'm literally about to make some food and I'm about to go finish some of these videos. I may even do a reaction to one of them, just because, why not? Clean up all these charts. Remove drawings. There goes Russell, finally breaking 10 a.m. for the first time today. That's crazy. Remove drawings. But yeah, quantum physics is, and honestly, I'll find another video. I forgot what it was called, but where it talks about how they're building quantum computers. Crazy. A quantum computer can solve millions of equations in minutes. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. I don't even know how they discover stuff like this, to be real. Like, how do you get to the point where you're testing these particles to see if they can carry information, to see if they can solve information, and then you combine it with AI? Yeah, AI is going to be smarter than us. AI is going to make human intelligence look minuscule. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to get to the point where being as smart as a human is not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. You're going to need some type of AI companion. You know, 4 hour, 4 hour. You're gonna need some type of AI companion, or you're going to be left behind. Save. That's hilarious, bro. This thing just shorted right off of this order block, like, and now it's officially bearish. There's no hope for these buys. Good job, Nasdaq. Nasdaq was the only one telling the truth today. ES wanted to bait as many buyers as possible. Bro, that's so lame, man. Because if ES would have shown a little more weakness, I would have been in a short. Right around 10 a.m., 10:20, 10:15. Boom, boom, boom. 30-minute there. Save that. All right. All right. Heat map, Russell, Bitcoin, dumping. 4 hour. All right, we're good. Save these. All right, yeah, I'm out of here. Charts are clean, ready for tomorrow. But yeah, definitely watch some of those. The first 10-15 minutes should be enough to make you pause the video and be like, what did I just listen to? Close that out. All right, cool. You guys take care, my friends. You have lunchtime dumping. Finally, it's all right, man. I wish it was a little cleaner today, but it'll be all right. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, all right? Later.